Now, good morning to you guys and welcome back once again to my channel. Please subscribe just in case you are here for the first time, and also don't forget to press that notification bell so that every time I upload a video here, YouTube will be able to update you through the notification. I also want to take this opportunity to appreciate so much my returning subscribers who are currently watching this video. Feel very much welcome, and I don't take your support for granted. Now let us go straight into our critical analysis for today. And in this video, I just want to be very much brief enough. So yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, Raila Odinga was in Abuja, Nigeria, and he attended the 2022 Leadership Conference and Awards. And Raila Odinga was privileged so much to issue out his speech during that event. But in Raila Odinga's speech, ladies and gentlemen, he took that opportunity to embarrass Kenyans very badly on how they participated in the previous 2022 general election, and he also went ahead to slam the independent institutions which are in charge of to carry out elections here in Kenya. So I just want you to listen very briefly to Raila Odinga's speech before I crack down into that speech so that you can understand what Raila Odinga is talking about, which will carry out the entire of our critical analysis for today.
But as we have witnessed in Kenya both in 2017 and 2022, technology is getting compromised and results altered. This has severely damaged the credibility of election management bodies in many of our countries. Let us cite an example. According to Gallup poll, 64% of Kenyans did not have confidence in the honesty of elections as we prepared for the 2022 elections. Similarly, the Afrobarometer survey shows that 24% of Kenyans thought that the elections are not at all free and fair. A further 18% thought that elections may be free and fair, but there are major problems. Only 23% of Kenyans thought that elections are completely free and fair as we headed to the polls. The Afrobarometer survey further showed that 31% of Kenyans did not trust our election management body, the IEBC, at all, and 23% trusted it only a little. Only 19% trusted the IEBC a lot. According to the Gallup poll, the percentage of Kenyans who have confidence in the honesty of elections declined from 58% in 2015 to only 35% in 2021. I believe the picture is pretty much the same in many African countries. Existing electoral laws are not seen to assemble an electoral system that the people believe is transparent, accountable, and democratic. There is therefore need for further reforms to make the voting process more accessible and reliable, enhance protections against mistakes, irregularity, confusion, and fraud. There is need to rethink the use of technology. Either we adopt reliable election technology, including voting machines, and generate a voter verifiable audit trail so voters can confirm that their choices are being recorded accurately, or we go fully manual. In Kenya, the Supreme Court ruled that the technology used by the IEBC in the 2022 election met the constitutional standards of integrity, verifiability, security, and transparency. It is unclear on what the objective criteria the Supreme Court arrived at this conclusion. There is also the question of centralization of election management. Do we need one big electoral body to manage our elections, or should election management be devolved to the states, the regions, or counties, as in the case of the United States? Should parties be allowed to second their members to the election management bodies? My answer to these two questions is yes. Here's my call to action. If Africa's elite autocrats are uniting against free and fair elections, Africa's democrats must also unite and defend democracy. We must build a continent-wide democracy coalition and look out for each other. The continent's democrats must treat the subversion of election anywhere on the continent as subversion of the people's will everywhere on the continent. It should be clear in the word and deed that whoever makes a move to ascend to power by means other than credible and constitutional elections is not only condemned, but subjected to sanctions and removal from such office.
So in my considered opinion, ladies and gentlemen, Raila Odinga lied so much during his speech, and the reason as to why I'm saying this is because you have heard Raila Odinga very well criticizing the electronic voting process, and he's saying that we need to rethink the use of technology because according to him, it is not accurate and he prefers manual voting process. But in my considered opinion, ladies and gentlemen, the way the elections were conducted here in Kenya, whenever the electronic process had some challenges or had some issues, the IEBC officials who were trained to conduct that process had to refer back to manual, and whenever your details could not verify, then they had to go back to manual process. And the people who voted can agree with me on this one. Number two, Raila Odinga has gone ahead to criticize about the Supreme Court of Kenya during his petition that he had presented to the Supreme Court of Kenya. And he's saying that according to the Supreme Court of Kenya, made a decision or the final ruling that the election met the constitutional standards because it was verifiable, it was legal, verifiability, and also it was transparency, the transparency. But according to Raila Odinga, the way the Supreme Court of Kenya conducted that petition, it was unclear on how they arrived to that conclusion. The Supreme Court of Kenya went through that petition and gave out a ruling that Raila Odinga's petition was just hot air and it had nothing. Number three, Raila Odinga is talking about the electoral management bodies, and he's saying that according to him, political parties here in Kenya must be allowed to second the names of their members to participate in the electoral management process, to manage the elections. But my question here is, how accurate, how he's saying that it is because of democracy. But in my considered opinion, how fair will it be if political parties, present or second the names of their members to go and carry out the management of the entire election here in Kenya? Will it be fair? Will that be accurate? Those are the questions which Raila Odinga must ask himself. So according to me, what Raila Odinga is talking about there, I completely disagree with him on that one. And also, Raila Odinga is saying that, he believes that William Samoei Ruto is currently in power because he rigged the previous 2022 general election. That is why he is advising the leaders here in Africa that each and every leader who ascended to power through rigging claims and should be allowed or should be kicked out from that office by the people who voted, But my question is, isn't that treason? Because in as much as the leader who is in that position, all the independent institutions who put him there through the constitution of their country, followed that process. Like, for example, here in Kenya, the IEBC officially declared William Ruto as the president of Kenya. The Supreme Court of Kenya upheld that ruling, and also the people of the Republic of Kenya went to vote. So Raila Odinga is claiming that his elections were stolen and that William Ruto is there unconstitutionally and he rigged the elections. and he prefers, is proposing that he should be given the powers to remove William Samoei Ruto from power through the demonstration. That is really, really wrong, and it has some consequences. It will lead this country into divisions. It will lead into this country into chaos, and there will be no development and peace here in Kenya. It's barely 5 months and people have already moved on. It's only that he is trying to come up with some lies and issues so that people can react to the previous 2022 general election, which I completely disagree with him. And number 6, and the last one, Raila Odinga is saying that only 23% of Kenyans believe that the elections were free and fair. The entire 77% of Kenyans believe that the previous election was not fair and free. That I really disagree with Raila Odinga, and he's saying that only 31% or only 19% of Kenyans believe or trust the IEBC. But my question here is, if Raila Odinga is saying that the entire 77% of Kenyans believe that do not believe that elections were free and fair, how did William Samoei Ruto be voted so much and overwhelmingly in the previous 2022 general election? And the 19% which Raila Odinga is talking about, that they trust the IEBC, and the entire around 80% do not trust the IEBC, what led to the people, to that majority of people don't trust the IEBC? In my considered opinion, it was Raila Odinga who should be blamed for the people of Kenya not to trust the IEBC, if at all what he's talking about is true. The reason I'm saying this is because during the previous 2022 general election, whenever Raila Odinga and his allies were campaigning for him, they said that Raila Odinga must be the president, wapende wasipende, because he has the entire deep state. He has the support of the president. So people said that, okay, instead of us going to vote, let us, because Raila Odinga will obviously become the president, they decided to have the voter apathy, and they disappeared from voting. That is why majority of people in the larger Nyanza region did not come up in huge numbers to vote for Raila Odinga, because they knew it very well that Raila Odinga has the deep state, he has the powers, he will definitely become the president of the Republic of Kenya, and they were in rude shock. Thank you so much for watching this video, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have much to add on. Until next time, my name is Json. Thank you.